Hello and welcome to today's show. It's about an autobiography by Jim Hamilton, his autobiography of hope. The show today is brought to you thanks to the Structure Success video training, which helps you come up with a rough outline for your life story project. Could be an autobiography, a biography, a memoir, or something else. So stay with me to the end of the show to find out more about this free training. A big g'day if this is your first time to Forever Young Autobiographies. It's where we learn how to create and record life stories for family and friends so that unique memories can live on for future generations. And it'd be terrific if you could follow, subscribe and like the show. So today I caught up with business consultant and author Jim Hamilton, and he's put out his autobiography. It's called Waves of Life, A Grateful Man's Journey, and it's been published by Library Tales Publishing. Essentially, it's about the three big waves that hit Jim and the lessons that he's learned during his life. Now, this started with the passing of his brother, and it also included battles with health and addiction. And then there's the general pain and joy of his life. But there's a special highlight to this book, and it's about love being the greatest gift that we can give and also receive. Now, I caught up with Jim recently and he went through a bit about himself, how he wrote this autobiography, and then tips for us as life story writers. So join me as we jump into it. So Jim said he has been about 40 plus years in the high-tech industry. He's a grandfather, he's a father, and he's married to his wonderful wife, Dora, and they live in Brentwood in California in the US. He's written a couple of books. The first is It's All About Her, and the second one is In Pursuit of Love. But he says his mission is to help people improve their lives, and they can do this through, he says, connecting, communicating and caring for one another. In 2015, he had a stroke at this time, and that was a real impetus for this book. He said it took him about 4 years to recover from this stroke. There were medical complications, there were twists of fate. But he really wanted to capture the learnings he had in this time, also from his own life and the lives of others. And he was supported, really importantly, by his friends, his family and his wife, Dora, to get started on this project. But how did he get to the writing? Let's dive into the process. Jim said he'd been preparing his whole life, 65 years, to write this book. But the actual writing just took him 1 year. He said he started quite simply just capturing his thoughts, his memories in a yellow lined legal pad. Nothing fancy, he started there. And then once he got those ideas, he put them into a PowerPoint slideshow, I suppose, as a graphic outline. I thought that was really, really interesting. A really good idea to do it graphically. From there, he did some research into the 1960s and 1970s American culture, and he interviewed 30 people. That is an incredible lot of people, 30. And these were his childhood friends, coaches, teammates, medical professionals, psychologists, and business executives who he dealt with throughout his life. And he put some of their comments, some of their learnings, with their permission, into the book as well. So they're woven through this autobiography. When it came to the writing, he said he started with a key story per chapter, and he worked that up and then had the transitions between the chapters. He got some opinions, some feedback from his wife Dora, who incidentally was a communications expert. Very handy to have one of those in the house. And then it went on to the editing and the cover design with his publisher. But there were still challenges to this writing process. He said he wanted to match the stories to the themes he wanted to explore in the book, and also to make sure that the stories that he chose would be enough for his readers to relate to. And of course, by doing this, there was many rewards. Through this project, he was able to tell the story of his hero and of his niece Lexi, who was diagnosed with cancer at age 13 and has battled that cancer and survived to grow up and to become a mother in her own right. There was also the reward of hearing from readers. Jim said that they wrote to him, contacted him and saying, look, I've assessed my own life, my own relationships from reading your book. So that is incredible, isn't it? The power that we can have through telling our stories. Jim's favourite part of this book, however, is how his wife, Dora, who he calls his rock, he says, quote here, helped me become the person that I am, the authentic Jim Hamilton. How really touching is that? That's his favourite part of the book. To wrap up the show, Jim had some real gems, some real tips for us as life story writers. Now, he said the first is, of course, just start. Start with that first word. And that's really important. It's like that saying, our journey starts with a single step. Jim says, get those first few words down. Just take 30 minutes to jot down your thoughts. And don't worry how great they are. Just get anything down. Don't worry about how perfect they are. Wonderful, wonderful tip. The second tip is to have notebooks handy. Your ideas, your memories, they're going to come to you 24/7. So have that notebook handy to capture that. If you don't have a notebook, think creatively. You can text yourself or you can leave yourself a voice message. So none of these nuggets of gold are missed. And finally, Jim says, look, be ready. When you get a burst of inspiration, you might be writing for 30 minutes, but then that might stretch out. If you've got that inspiration, you've got that writing flow. Be prepared to ride that inspiration wave, if you like. Keep going and just enjoy it, getting it all down. So there you go. That's a case study about a California author's life story, rides, ups and downs, all through life. And to recap, we talked about Jim and his book, and we talked about how he created it, what were the rewards, the challenges, and then some tips for us as life story writers. So I've got a whole article in more depth about this over at my website. You go to foreveryoungautobiographies.com/waves of life, and I'll have the links for you in the show notes, so please check that out. But I'd like you to answer a question too before or while you're at the article or while you're here. What is one big change or one big wave that has hit you or a loved one in your life? Please share. And at the top of the show, I mentioned the Structure Success video training. Now, this is a free training. I go through how to come up with memories and key events of your life to get an outline for your own project. To get that, go to foreveryoungautobiographies.com/structure success sign up. Again, all the links will be in the show notes. So I'll be back again really soon with another topic, and it'd be terrific if you could follow, subscribe, like the show, share it with a friend, and until then, everyone, happy writing.